Now let's quickly go ahead and finish up this wireframing process with store locations and then finally a menu. So let's start with store locations. So same thing, grid, copy guides, and maybe we can select both of these, right click, guides, and paste guides. Now I could do this at the beginning, but sometimes you never know if you want to change some of these, so it's really easier way to go one by one and then not to have to lose time and come back and make some changes that you didn't want in the first place. So let's start with our close. So select it from here, Control C, jump right here, Control V. Next up we have the search icon, which we need, Control C, jump right here, Control V, and I'm going to position it right here to this edge. Make sure it's positioned as it should, like this. And what we need is some basic text, so use this one, Control C, Control V, and make sure it's in the middle of these ones, like this, and make sure all of them are positioned as they should. So make sure you are 20 pixels down, same like we did, and make sure this is 20 pixels to the right from the icon. So Shift 1, 2, and type in store locations, or even better, search locations, which has a lot more sense, like this. And finally what we need is a line down below. So you can create a line using line tool, but I like to create it using shape layers, which can always bring me back, and I can always readjust them and change them later if I want to. You can select this, or you can simply click right here, let's say, and maybe for the height we can type in 1, and as you can see we have ourselves a line. So align them to the bottom of these icons, Shift 1, 2. Make sure you have the same spacing as before, and we have finished up with this. So maybe we can create some order, so line, move it all the way down below, so we have like this, close this search and group all of them together, and maybe we can write in search bar, let's say, just so that we can have a bit more organized screen. Next up we can create the bottom part of this screen. So let's select a rectangle like so, use 5 like so, remove the border and use same color as we did for all of these other ones. What we want next is to choose some text, so you can choose this and this, Control C, Control V, and make sure you place them right here inside. So double click right here and type in, for example, Belgrade store. This is going to be a street, so let's call it like this. Of course you can write in any street, any city you want, but this is just because it's in Belgrade. Control D, and finally right here we want to have the same spacing. Double click, type in more details, Control A, and hit underline, because this is going to be a simple link. It can be a pop-up message which will pop up from below or from above, it really doesn't matter, or it can take you to the entirely different screen. It's really up to you and your client to decide, but in more details people can learn about the phone number, about the email address, about specific website, about stuff like those, so that they can access it directly from here. Next up what we need is an icon for the navigation, because when they find location here it will pop up right here, and they can simply click right here and it will take them to the preferred application they use, so Google Maps, Waze, Apple Maps, and so on. So let's quickly choose that icon. It's this one, Control C, jump right here, Control V, and what we want is to create a simple circle. So maybe we can create one, for example 50 by 50. Let's see how that looks like. So 50 by 50, remove the border, make sure it's white, jump into the layers panel, jump in right here, double click, type in circle, and we want to select these two, position them like so. And what we want is to position this in the middle like this, and perhaps move it 40 pixels, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And maybe we can order these ones a bit better like this. Select the background, select the group, position them in the middle. Maybe you can call this text. Let's double click right here, type in text, like so. And this is going to be a card BG, same like on all of the other ones. And maybe we can group all of them like so. Just make sure you move these right here. Control G, and you can even group those, so directions, like that. Group all of them, so Control G. This is going to be our card, and you can move it down below and perhaps use 1, 2, 3, 40 pixels or 20 pixels. Let's just quickly check what we did on the other ones. So on this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's 40 pixels and we did it correctly. As you can see, it's in the middle. It looks exactly the same like all of the other ones. And what we need finally is to create some directions. Now you can do it right here, or you can wait a bit later when you have your finished design, but let's just do it anyway. So I'm going to select this location icon, jump into our map, Control V, paste it in, simply position it somewhere around here, let's say, then use a pen tool, click right below it, so like this, maybe like this. You want to use some street information like so. Then, so we can create a path like that. And what we need is a circle, and we can use some of these circles we already created. So for the colors, select the color and this color, Control C. You can jump right here into this screen, Control V to paste it in. You can place it like that, and that's going to be your final destination. So use this color and fill it out with this color like that, and that's going to be your final destination. Now what's great about this path in Adobe XD, you can simply double click on it and you can move the points. You can hold shift if you want to make a straight point, straight path like this. Maybe I want to position it like this, and maybe even like so. And what's great as well is we can then move it around once we include our map, just so that we can make it a bit more realistic. If you don't like how this looks, you can click on the path and you can create a round cap, which if I zoom in, you can see it looks a lot better than without a round cap, because it's going to simply make it like, if you use butt cap, it's going to be a simple rectangle. I really like how this round cap looks like, and because all of our icons have these rounded edges, you can place it and position it a lot better than with the butt cap, as they call it. So that's basically it for the store location, and let's quickly and finally just make a menu screen. So what we need is this close icon, copy it, paste it in the exactly same position. We also need a logo, so we're going to select it from here, jump into our screen, Control V, make sure it's in the middle. And what we need is a background, so we're going to create a nice big rectangle around our entire screen. Remove the border, call it BG, move it all the way down below, move all of this stuff up, so logo move down below. And why we created this background is because we want to create this screen as an overlay. So when you create a background, you can use all sorts of different animations. For example, you can use the different opacity. So for example, you can reduce opacity if you want, and then overlay this entire screen over the other screens. Now, finally, what we need is a lot of text. So let's choose this one, Control C, Control V. Make sure it's from the center, make sure it's in the center, make sure it goes, so for example 1, 2, 3, 4, same like we did with all of the other ones. So let's call this first one a profile, and you can hit enter and then go down a few lines, but I like to keep my text separate because it really gives me a lot more flexibility. So you can move it down below like so, 1, 2, 3, 4. And maybe we can call this one my orders, like that, Control D, then move this one below. I don't know why it keeps doing this, but as you can see, it keeps selecting all of the other ones, but in that case, simply select the top one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then position it just below this one. I really don't know why it does it, but maybe because I'm holding shift, I don't know, it didn't do that before. So my payments is going to be this one, and finally, because we need two more, we can copy these two. So my orders and my payments, let's move these two down, and as you can see, it keeps doing this even if you just select 2 or 3 different layers. But maybe we can do it like this, so just move it just a touch, select these two, so hold shift and move them like so. So 1 2 3 4. This is going to be settings like that, and finally we have logout. And there we go, we have finished our screen. Make sure they are all in the same order, and if you don't like how this looks like, you can position this text down. So let me quickly select all of them like this, Control G. And what I want to do is create a simple rectangle from the bottom of the X to the top of our logo. Select these two and then simply hit right here. It's going to align it in the middle of this space because the rectangle is filling out this space. Finally, delete the rectangle and then move some of these down. So right here, ungroup, and here we go. We have created our menu screen, which we're going to overlay in the design process. We will start prototyping our screens, and that's it. We have finished our wireframes. One final thing, and really important thing, if you don't have it on autosave, make sure to press Ctrl or Command S, and it's going to save out your project, so you're not going to lose out any details when we come back to it a bit later on. But Adobe XD is really smart and it's doing autosave, so if you don't have it enabled, make sure to find it in the settings, or if you don't want it and you, like me, like to save your own work from time to time, so simply hit Ctrl or Command S and it's going to save it in the desired location. So that's it for the wireframing part of this course. Next up, in the next section, we're going to start with the design. I'm going to show you how the structure of the images is set up in your resources folder and how you can use those images to create a high fidelity design which you're going to present to your client. So I'll see you in the next part of the course.